Welcome back to Ledger Prime. My name's Luke, and guys, what is going on today? Today is February 25th, and we just saw more than $400 million in short positions get liquidated. And Bitcoin hasn't even broken out to new highs yet. It wasn't a euphoric breakout. We didn't break through some weird level. This was a short squeeze. And the positioning shift, what we've seen with the big boys, is what matters. So let's pull up the chart. We got to look at what's going on here. So you can see right here, guys, this candle right here, we just reclaimed 69. Well, we're a little bit below 69 right now, but we just reclaimed that $69,000 level. And we were around 63,000 yesterday. That's a 7% move in 24 hours. But zoom out, right? Zoom out, we're still down 21% in a few days. So this is nothing to cheer about. And it's also like, don't get faked out with this rally. One giant green candle, don't get jumping in. If this is indeed a short squeeze, right, we can fall back down to where we were just as fast as we went up. So let's not say this is a full structural reversal yet. What it appears though, guys, is some sort of counter trend move fueled by the big boys just repositioning themselves. And that distinction really matters when we're talking about Bitcoin price and moves like this. Because according to CoinGlass, over 400 million in shorts were just liquidated within the last 24 hours. Total liquidations, 463 mil. That means overwhelming majority were short. Bitcoin alone, they report, accounted for 200 million in short liquidations. Ethereum, 153 million. Solana, 22 million. So when you see that type of imbalance, it tells you one thing. The market was leaning too heavy in one direction. And when positioning gets crowded, price hunts liquidity. So let's pull up Ethereum, take a look at that chart and see what that looks like. So let me pull up Ethereum. And you can see we've reclaimed $2,000. We're right back up there, up 12% on the day. Trading near, what are we now, 2,073 and change, almost 2075. But look at the bounce relative to the weakness. That's what we need to look at. Ethereum's been bleeding out for weeks, just like everything else, right? Just been bleeding out. So the move isn't random strength. It's relief from oversold conditions combined with forced buying from liquidations. Okay, remember that. That is reflexive flow, we'll call it. Shorts get liquidated, market buys to close, price accelerates up, more shorts get liquidated, and the feedback loop is kind of what we're seeing here. It's kind of like in reverse when people put in their stop losses and the price goes down, boom, stop loss triggered, sell, 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 sell. But we're seeing it now in reverse with the short squeeze on Ethereum. And after looking at this chart though, the question we have to ask ourselves is this just a short squeeze? Or are we seeing a broader risk on? Right? Are we rotating back into risk on? Are the prices suppressed enough where people are saying, all right, the risk is worth the reward now. I'm going to get back in. Because now let me pull up Solana quick, because this is another one we got to look at. So if we pull up the chart of Solana and look over here on this green candle right here, Solana jumped almost 14%, right? We're above 89 bucks. And that's a high beta response. So when you see Solana outperform Bitcoin on a rebound, this is what it usually signals. Risk appetite expanding. It's not just defensive rotation back into Bitcoin. Capital's flowing into high beta names. And that aligns with what's happening in equities as well. Because crypto-linked equities are surging. So if you go pull up the chart, we see Circle, right? The demand for stablecoin is going through the roof. Circle's up 29%. Coinbase is up 13%. Strategy 9%, right? And this is broad risk on behavior. A while ago, a couple weeks ago, we were saying it's all risk off, risk off, risk off, right? Interest rates, geopolitics, what have you. But now we may be moving back into risk on. The charts and the money flows don't lie. So this isn't just isolated to crypto either, right? Macro is participating. The stock market's participating. The Nasdaq's up almost 400 points today. Crypto is participating. So guys, back to Bitcoin. Let me pull up Bitcoin again. We have to look at a couple levels here. Technically, Bitcoin reclaiming 69K is important, right? If we look at the chart, we reclaim 69K. But the real trigger level is above this, right? If we fail here and roll over, it becomes a textbook short squeeze within a downtrend. But if we consolidate above 69K, shorts will hesitate to re-enter aggressively, and the positioning should reset. So the broader market, right? If we look at the broader market, up 6.6% overall. Those are good numbers. Double-digit gainers include Polkadot, Avalanche, Chainlink, Uniswap, Aptos, Filecoin. That is wide altcoin participation, which is good to see. And wide participation is what separates a squeeze from a localized bounce. So interestingly though, prediction markets are now shifting, right? If you look at Poly Market, there's now a 43% probability Bitcoin reaches 84,000 before 55,000. That means sentiment is shifting. The probability jumped 14% in one day though. So it's either, what kind of stock can we put in prediction markets? I'm not sure, but what drives, if people think it's going up, they're going to put their money into it, and people buying can drive price up. So the prediction markets could be pretty accurate. If sentiment is positive, people are going to start buying again, which will push prices higher. Because when sentiment flips like that, volatility usually follows. So here's what we're watching, guys. Does Bitcoin hold above 69K? Do funding rates flip aggressively and positively? Does altcoin beta continue to outperform? Right, we're going to keep an eye on that. If no, this was just positioning getting punished. Short squeezes, liquidated. Price goes up quickly, trickles back down. Either way, today is a reminder. Crowded trades don't unwind gently. Either direction, right? If you were short, you got wrecked. Sometimes if you're long, you get wrecked because they unwind violently when it happens. And the 400 million in liquidations just proved it. Guys, this is Luke at Ledger Prime. We'll see you in the next one.